The email landed at midnight. No subject, just her name. You should come. It's your daughter's wedding. 5 years. Not a single word, not even a hint of explanation. And now this. I sat alone in the dark, the cold blue glow of the screen splashing across my face. My house was silent. My new life, carefully built from zero, had no room for ghosts. Yet somehow, she'd found me. I read the message again. Your daughter. The phrase felt like rust in my mouth. No one had called me father in years. Not since that month. 30 days of silence. 30 days of walking into rooms where my wife and my daughter acted like I was already dead. No eye contact. No answers. Meals passed like offerings to a phantom until I finally left. And now, this invitation. The nerve of it. Yet beneath the words, I sensed something more, a tremor, a flicker of fear. So I typed only 2 words back, I'll come. The church reeked of lilies and old dust. People turned and whispered as I entered. I hadn't aged the way they expected. Not broken. Not begging. Just colder. She saw me before I saw her, my wife, still hiding behind that same mask of composure. But when our eyes locked, her hand trembled against the pew. She hadn't expected me to show up. She hadn't expected me to look this alive. And then I saw the bride. My daughter, or so she was called. White dress. Trembling smile. Arm linked with the man who would claim her. Her eyes flicked to mine and then away, that same old dismissal, the same look she gave me in those final 30 days, as if I were nothing. I took a seat at the back. I wasn't here for them. I was here for me. The ceremony droned on. Vows. Rings. Laughter. None of it reached me. I wasn't there for blessings or reconciliation. I was there for truth. Because during the silence of those years, I'd pieced it all together. The whispers. The shadows of another man in my wife's phone. The sudden chill from my daughter. The way she cut me out like she'd been trained. I wasn't a father, not to her. Never was. And they knew. After I left, I didn't drown in grief. I dissected it, like a surgeon carving rot from living flesh. First the phone records. Hidden calls made when she thought I was asleep, always to the same number, always hushed. Then the photos. A man lingering at the edges of family events. Never close enough to claim space, but close enough to be there. And finally, the DNA test. A simple kit. A strand of hair lifted from a brush my daughter once used. The results were clinical. Brutal. Paternity probability, 0%. The world tilted, but I didn't fall. Instead, I became steel. When I confronted my wife back then, I didn't shout. I didn't demand. I just laid the paper on the table. She didn't speak. She didn't have to. Her silence was confession enough. And when my daughter walked in, saw the paper, and turned her face away, that was the final knife. She chose her silence. She chose her blood. So I walked out, not in rage, not in defeat, but with precision. 5 years later, here I was, watching the performance of purity. A wedding dress draped over a lie. When the priest called for blessings, I stood. My footsteps echoed down the aisle. Every eye turned. My wife's lips parted, but no sound came. I reached the front. The groom stiffened. My daughter's smile cracked. I slipped a folded envelope from my coat pocket, yellowed, creased, the DNA report. I placed it on the altar beside the rings. Silence. A suffocating silence. Then I spoke, low and controlled. She asked me to come to see my daughter Mary. I looked at the bride, her face drained of color. But she is not my daughter. The words rippled through the room like a stone in still water. Gasps. Murmurs. The groom's hand slid from hers. I didn't look at him. My eyes stayed on her, on the woman who raised her in silence, who trained her to erase me. My wife's body shook. Hands clasped. Knuckles white. Face pale as death. Finally, she whispered, barely audible, "Please don't." But I didn't need to raise my voice. The truth was already louder than anything I could say. I turned to the guests. You all deserve honesty. Today shouldn't begin with a lie. Then I turned back to her, my wife, my betrayer, the woman who condemned me to silence, who believed 5 years of absence had killed my resolve. Her tears came too late. They didn't move me. They didn't belong to me anymore. I stepped closer, leaning just enough so only she could hear. You taught her to ignore me. Now watch as the world ignores you. She broke then. Shoulders convulsing. Eyes begging for mercy. But mercy had no place here. I walked back down the aisle. Not rushed. Not triumphant. Just steady. Each step deliberate. Each step leaving her behind. Behind me, chaos swelled. Voices rose. The wedding dissolved into confusion, but none of it touched me. Outside, the air was cool and clean. For years I had carried the weight of their silence. Tonight, I handed it back. Not in fury. In truth. There was nothing left for me in that church. Not love. Not family. Only ghosts. I had not come for reconciliation. I had come for closure. And I had it. I lit a cigarette, the flame briefly illuminating my face. In the glass of a passing car, I caught my reflection, hollow, unshaken, free. They had written me out of their lives once. But today, I wrote the final line. I exhaled smoke into the night and walked away forever.